when you're putting in your shadow, remember that you're going to just use your 5 and your 7, just like our shadow here. And we're setting up the shadows first so that we know how to render the rest of it. So I'm beginning to wet the paper with the 5. And I'll put a little 7 at the start of it where the most contrast is. And this is going to look too dark, but when we get the rest of it in, it will look fine. So now we can put this in. A little bit underneath here. This is the 5 now. Here. Okay. There'd be a little shadow under here. And remember that you don't make it the same all the way along. You're looking for a gradual value everywhere you go. So I start from one end and keep plowing away, and then in the middle, where the light is hitting it most, you get it to be a little bit lighter. And I'm not worried about that. I can fix that up as I go. That was just the 5 though. I didn't go in with the darker one there. Because the focus is the silhouette of the sofa, not so much the separate parts. There's also a little shadow back here. I can put a little accent of that in. So now I'll start with the 3 and the 5 to do my front planes. On the box, we're looking at these values. That was our shadow side. Now we're looking at these values. I can start from the top and work my way down. I want to leave a little space there to show the thickness at the back. But see, you're not just doing one stroke. Especially if you want to blend it. I think I might take some of the 1 and put a little bit here, just so that it's not stark. There, so now it rolls over, and I've got the 3. That was the 5 I had there, so that's okay. I wanted to put 5 there, but I didn't want to start with it. I should have started with the 3, but once you have, you don't worry about it, you just put more of it, and that'll blend it in some. I think I'll put a little more here. So you've got your plan, but you have to see what works once you get started. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I've got separation from top and front, and separation from front and back. Now this is different. This is our lightest plane. So I'm going to start at the front and work my way back. I want to have the most contrast, and this was a fat cushion, so I want to be able to allude to some of that height that it has. And I want to leave a little of the white of the paper at the back if I can. And now I'll put a little of the 3. I'm only working with the 3, the 1, the 3, and the white of the paper. So now I can see a little separation between the front and the top and the back. Now the arms, I've been looking forward to the arms because I want to see what I can do with them. I want to roll them like a cylinder, so that's that. So I've put the 1 down first, and now I'm filling in some 3 here. I think I might put a little 5 too, just sort of up and under like that, because that'll make some nice contrast down here. And it's not very obvious, so I'm going to put a little bit of the 3 over there, because I want to feel it rolling. And this might be easier over here. Put a little bit of the 1. Now I'm filling the whole thing, wetting the paper. And I want the 3 to start here. I want my most, oh, that's a 5. That's all right. That's a 5. So I'm going to blend that in with the 3. And that'll move it back this way. Oh, that turned out well. So now it looks like it rolls. I don't know if you can see it there, but it looks like it rolls now. Okay. Now the front, it's supposed to be like the back, the 5 and the 3. So I'll wet it with the 3. Oh, 5 again. So there's the 3. I've got the 5 at the top. And that's where it should be. See how I'm trying to leave a little key line for the light? But the idea is that it starts off dark at the top. That's a little 5. Here's a little 3. Dark at the top. Then there's light hitting here, so it bounces up in. So whereas this might be a little dark here, because there's a little crease here, that'll help to set the arm up. So everything you do, you're trying to set the next thing up. So I'm working with the 3 now. I'm going to put a little bit of 5 at the top. Now, I'm sure you were thinking this would never be that complicated to render something so simple, but if you think about it and do it thoughtfully, it just almost renders itself, and soon you don't have to think about it anymore. And then you start taking off and doing what makes the most sense to you. But in the beginning, it's good to have these charts and think about things that way. So this now is again like the back. I've got to make it, but I know the light is hitting here down the front, so I'm making allowances for that. But I still want it to be darker than that, so I'm going to go a little more with my 3. Okay, good to step back too. Make your strokes and then step back. This I'd like to leave a little key line here, because this goes back and it rolls forward and catches the light. So there's my little flirty skirt on my sofa. And I'm just going to put a little bit of this in. And it sounds like I'm chopping at it, but I'm not. I'm flicking a little bit, but and you'll get used to the markers once you get doing more of it. So I think that should do it. And you can also put these lines on cushions seem to indicate that they're plump, so that's nice. And this now has a shadow down the side of it, and it comes in. So I can even do that in the 5. And I'm trying to keep my markers open the whole time so that they're ready when I need to blend. So this now is a front plane, so I do need some value here. And that helps to roll that under. There. I think I might just set it up at the back too a little more. Maybe here. This should probably have some design on it. That would help too. And this is going to have shadow on this side. Now the top's in the light, but the front's in shadow. Wrong marker. So you see how often I use the wrong marker. So don't panic. Just get in there with the right one as soon as you can. And now that shadow side doesn't look dark enough, so I have to go a little darker. The back of the floor, it's going to be shadow under here. So you can start to let that go. And this was the 3. And now I'll use some 5. While the paper's wet, I can introduce 5. It also softens that cast shadow at the back from the sofa. And this is not a bad thing to do, just to kind of get that floor going. The draperies, remember, they're cylinders, so I'm going to work with my 5 and my 3. I don't want to make them too exciting, so I'll go in. I'm mostly thinking about their shadows more than anything. So I'll put the 5 down the center. That was 3. And again, I'm going down from the top and up from the bottom, so the center looks more lit up. Hopefully this is getting you excited about doing your rendering, and it'll make the drawing more fun for you. Because the rendering is the part that's your reward. After all the drawing, the rendering is your reward for all the planning. And if you end up with, that was too harsh there, so I ended up having to color that over a little bit. These, I just color those in. And again, if you have some sort of pattern, you can start to introduce it. And then you let it taper off to nothing eventually. So the shadows are deeper, everything is deeper and richer near the sofa, and as it moves away, it's getting lighter. Now, this is all new for you, so you just grab what makes sense to you and use it, and the rest will come in time. It takes time for all of this to... I'm still hearing my professors, I'm hearing things they told me that I thought I understood when they said them, and now I get it. Now I understand it. But it's taken all these years to get it. So that's a little bit the drapery. Then I've been waiting to do this, this, because it looks so flat. So there we are with our 1. And if I wanted a really, really, really smooth transition, I could have put the clear blender down first, and it would have been even a nicer, cleaner transition rather than so contrasty. So there's the 1, the 3, and the 5, and you put the 5 inside the 3. There. If there's anything on your carpet that has a darker pattern, it's just a matter of going in and fetching that. So maybe there's more. Your design. And then you can use your this to give you more. Now, we're not fine artists. We're not. This is not our product. This is an indication of something, a product to come. So you don't have to render this completely representationally at all. It's just an indicator of something more finished to come, which is the actual room. So you take shortcuts, you use symbols, and you simplify things so that that's easier to accomplish. Don't render your whole wall. If I know that the value of this wall is going to be my 3, I'll start with my 10, and I'll find a way to make my way over to one side, and I'll start to lighten up. So even here, I'm favoring one side to be darker, one side to be lighter. And that was the 1. Now I'm with the 3, and I'll just zoom across. That just means it continues. Here now, I want to start with the 3. This is my darker wall, and I'll put a little 5 in the corner. My 5 is dry, so it's not working quite as well with the other markers. And go like that. So now there's a separation between, remember that's your job, separating top from front, top from back. You're just separating things out. This may be something dark. And again, you see, you go from one side, the other side, so the center is lighter. And you put in some darker. This is my 7. But you put the darkest one inside the lighter one, the next lighter one. Even these, you can go from the top, the bottom, and the top, and so the center is lighter. So you're getting a varied value. If I were to say anything that's a common problem, it's that people they just put one stroke of the marker in. And you see that's not enough. You have to do it repeatedly in order to get enough out of a single marker. And these are shadows, so I'll put shadows. Okay, so I think I'll stop there. Hopefully that'll give you a little bit of an idea how to do a more normal sofa. Then in the end, this has got to be our most important thing. So whatever else you have to do to kick it up, you do that. And it might be going back and retrieving some white. Now outside the window we're going to put some, if looking at some foliage or something out there. Don't leave it blank. That's the most important thing. Don't leave it blank. The other thing it does, it helps to hook up things so nothing's floating as a solitary. Those sweeps across the floor were to connect everything so that you weren't looking at that and that and that and that. They're kind of working together. That's another problem that we see a lot, is that everybody paints separate things and doesn't think about the whole space, the whole atmosphere, the whole thing. So you need to make sure you're thinking of the whole thing. These two, we can make them darker to light, dark to light, dark to light, dark to light. The leaded windows. And these are windows though, so you've got to indicate that there's glass back there. And although it may seem like a strange thing to do, I think it might be a good idea to, this will be shadow under here, shadow. That helps to join things up. So you need to put in some diagonals to show that it's glass. That's best with your gel pen, your white gel pen. Texture is something that's really helpful. It breaks a lot of things up. If you've made some area too dark and it's just not working for you, break it up with some texture, some white texture, some dark texture. You can use your black pencil too. And you can use the black colored pencil. It gives you soft fuzzy lines. They're nice as a contrast to everything as well. So if you want, see these are brocade or something, you need a little more texture. Okay,